Math 76, Lesson 51, mentally dividing decimal numbers by 10 and by 100. So this is very similar to our mental multiplication. We're not going to be putting any notes down except for these first example problems where I'll be putting some marks in red. So you can see, let's use orange. It's been a while since I used orange. I like orange, good color. So, like I said, this is very closely related to our multiplication of decimal numbers mentally. If you remember, when we multiply mentally, what we do is we count the number of zeros in our 10 or 100 number, and that tells us how many places we're going to move the decimal point to the right in order to make a larger number, right? So, since this is 10, I'm going to take this decimal point, I'm going to move it one space over to the right, which would mean my answer is 25, right? I'm not even going to put the mark on this one since we've already done multiplication. If it's 2.5 times 100, I'm going to move it two places, which means I'm going to have 250, and I have to add that placeholder 0 to show the second decimal place that got moved. Now, the key here is that when we're mentally multiplying a decimal by 10 or 100, we know we're going to get a larger number. Now, when we're mentally dividing, we know we should get a smaller number. So, instead of moving my decimal point to the right, I'm actually going to move it to the left. If you remember, the number line left takes us to smaller numbers. So when I see that I've got 1 0, I'm going to take this decimal point, I'm going to move it one space to the left. So my new number is not 25, it is actually 25 hundredths, or 0.25. And we can see how that contrasts to our multiplication. Now let's do it for 100. If we take 2.5 divided by 100, I'm going to take this decimal place. I'm going to move it not one, but two spaces over to the left. I put my decimal point. I'm going to need some placeholder zeros. So now that is actually going to be 0.025. This one accurately read as 25 hundredths. This one 25 thousandths. And that's how we mentally divide. So let's do some practice problems. Let's go to this one. 87.5 divided by 10. I'm going to move it one place because of the 0, and it's going to go to the left because it's division. So my answer is going to be 8.75, or 8 and 75 hundredths. Let's go to this next one. 25 divided by 100. 2 zeros, so I'm going to have to take my decimal point. I'm going to move it two spaces to the left. My decimal point is hiding right behind the 5 because it's a whole number. So my answer is going to be 0.25. That decimal point move. Remember, from here, 1, 2, to its new home. Now, let's go. We got two more examples. Let's see if you guys can stay on point with these. So 0.5 divided by 100. I'm going to move it two spaces to the left because I've got two zeros. So that should give me 0.005. Again, just to show you, we go 1, 2, decimal point, placeholder 0, and that's how we got that number. If you need to, if you are having trouble doing this mentally, feel free to do this on your paper. Doing this will help you eventually get to this point to where you can do it mentally. Now, the last one, we've got 0.5 times 10. You're like, Mr. Claiborne, I thought we were doing division. Well, I did this on purpose because your textbook will do this to you on purpose. Every now and again, they'll throw in a multiplication with your division or division with your multiplication just to see if you're paying attention. So, since this is multiplying, I'm not going to the left. I want a bigger number, so I'm going to be going to the right. So 0.5 times 10 should just equal whole number 5. All right, well, that's it for this lesson. It's nice and short. If you have any questions, let me know on the school website, and I will see you in class.